put on the recording because this program is going to be live on our YouTube channel. And it would be nice that after the class, you are able to get back on the YouTube channel to be able to refresh yourself on the program, okay? I'm still admitting a handful of people. So we should be able to start in just about 30 seconds. Okay, so today's workplace productivity training is looking at effective productivity tools that you need for 2021. Do you want to make some progress, achieve some things this year? Do you want to set the right goals? Have you been creating New Year resolutions or setting targets for yourself, whether intellectual, professional, or all kinds of targets, and you've not been meeting them? What could be going wrong? Why are you not meeting your targets? Why are you not achieving your dreams or you're accomplishing your plans or your goals? We're going to look at all of that here. And this 6-class series includes very important lessons. We're going to do goal setting. We're going to look at setting up, developing a high performance team. We're going to look at safety in the workplace. We're going to look at personal productivity. There are certain soft skills you need as an individual that will also be captured in this series that we are covering. So it's going to be all encompassing between today and Saturday. Clear your calendar for 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Hopefully, we should be able to finish at 7 p.m., but if it stretches past at a worst case scenario, we should be able to get through at 7:30 on a daily basis. So I'm going to do this for free for everybody. What I've done now is I have put on the chat box 3 links, and I want you to review those 3 links. Click on them on your phones or your laptops and review those links. The first one is the link to our workplace productivity courses. Our workplace productivity courses are all 100% online. So each of the 6 courses you are seeing us take today are only part of a series of 150 workplace productivity courses that you can take 100% online on our learning management system. That first link is courses.max-migold.com. If you click on it, you can scroll from page to page, and you will see relevant courses that are going to take you through some of the topics beyond what we are going to do here in this class today. So I recommend that you spend time browsing those courses. They're not expensive. They've been highly discounted. I don't think any of the courses there will cost you more than 5,000 Naira. Okay, so it's something you can actually pick up, and at the end of each course, after you've done the quizzes, you get a Max-Migold certificate. Max-Migold has established itself as one of the best training institutions for facility managers and workplace professionals. So if you have a Max-Migold certificate for any of these training courses, it is very valuable besides the skills you would have acquired. Okay, so please browse through those courses and then see what you can get. Now, for each of these classes we're going to be running in these 6 days, we're going to having these discussions, learning, having these interactions. I'll put some questions and answer session at the end of each session, about 15 minutes, as much as we can afford, at the end of each session. And then the expectation is that all those who want the certificates for this one we are doing today, all you need to do is go to courses.max-migold.com, click on goal setting and getting things done, you will see this entire content available. You will see the quizzes, you see the whole thing. It's about 3-4 hours to actually complete. You'll be able to actually complete it and then earn your certificates for just a token of 5,000 naira. So I don't think that will be a challenge for anybody. I just want to bring this to your notice, because when we are trying to get improve our workplace productivity, it's not something that we can joke with or play with. Okay, so everybody should take this seriously. Now, the second link I have there is the link to the FMMC diploma program. Okay, so that's a comprehensive training that we have put together for facility managers. Whether you are experienced in FM, you are new to FM, whether you've been working for many years or just been promoted to a role or transferred into facility management, you need the FMMC, you need a diploma program. So I put the link there. You or anyone else might be able to benefit from that program. The next batch starts on the 12th, which is next week, Tuesday, actually. And if you're interested, please sign up for it. Don't allow money issues or any concerns. Chat me up, whatever concerns you have. And I think I've been very good at solving problems for people, just to make sure that nobody is exempted. And then the final link is the facility management training page, which has all of the short courses. You want to take just a maintenance program, you want to take just an operations program, feel free on that link. Okay, so that's what I've done. They've been dropped again. You can see them right there. So I'm going to dive straight into today's class: goal setting and getting things done. We all have dreams, we all have goals. Everybody wants to achieve, something. We all have aspirations to get certain achievement or accomplishment. But then it's a different ball game when it comes to actually getting it, actually achieving it. And so that's what we want to look at. And in achieving our goals, this is not just about professional goals, mind you. And that's why we made this series this year, to be completely agnostic of profession. You can be an engineer somewhere, you can be a teacher, you can be a footballer, you could be a facility manager, whatever the profession you belong to. These 6 days will definitely make a difference in your career and in your life. And we're not looking at just professional goals and achievements. We're going to be looking at individual, personal goals and personal achievements. We're going to be looking at a lot of areas of our lives that we need to make progress. Okay. All right. So what we want to achieve today is demystify the number one destroyer of achievements. The number one destroyer of achievements is actually procrastination. So we want to demystify it, we want to destroy it, we want to take it out of our way. Look at how to self-motivate ourselves to achieve. And then time. You all talk about, I don't have time, I didn't get to it, I don't have time for this. We all have equal amount of time for every day, right? So why are some people achieving something and some are not achieving nothing? When we all have equal amount of time, we need to understand what time is and how to manage time effectively. And then we need to get to cross certain difficult hurdles to the path of achievement. Accomplish important tasks is very important. And then we'll finally look at how to set goals that are specific, that are measurable, that are realistic, that are time-bound, that are achievable. Okay, so we're going to look at all of these goals, how to set goals. So sometimes you set a goal that does not meet this requirement and you think you've set a goal, right? And then when you don't achieve it, you feel demotivated. You feel that you've not achieved something. Okay, so we want to get to that point where you can refine the kind of goals you actually set, so that you don't set goals that put you in some kind of quagmire situation that you feel you're not achieving anything, whereas it is the goal itself that's the problem. All right, I don't think there's anybody on this earth that will say, I don't procrastinate. Everyone does. What is procrastination? Any task that is unpleasant, try not to do it or keeping it for later. That's procrastination. It cuts across every facet of life. The things you don't fancy doing, you delay it, defer it, push it aside. That's procrastination. And that is the number one obstacle to achieving anything that is worthwhile. All right, so we'll talk about Eat That Frog. So Mark Twain that started this particular frog analysis when he said, if you have, if you know you have to eat a frog a day, and that is the most unpleasant thing you have for yourself for that day, ensure that you start with it. And if you have read Brian Tracy's book on how to get this done, all of this, some of his positive mentoring books, you see him always referring to Eat That Frog, right? It means do the most dreaded task first. The one that is most unpleasant, tackle it head on. You get a sense of accomplishment. Some days I wake up, I do something between 6 and 8 o'clock in the morning, and I feel like taking the whole day off because those 2 hours has given me the accomplishment of what I really needed to deliver for that day. And what that does for me is that every other thing that comes during the day, I find them easier to tackle. So if I feel like picking up additional tasks for the day, I just pick them on, almost as if I'm doing them effortlessly because I have taken my most dreaded task first. So wake up to the most difficult part of your day, deal with it, get it out of the way. And I'm going to talk about some ways you can actually reward yourself when you feel you have accomplished the most important things for the day as early as possible. Do not defer, do not delay them. That's the whole idea of not procrastinating. But then you cannot just tell yourself, oh, well, I know I'm procrastinating at this time. I don't want to procrastinate again. No, you must identify the obstacles, the things that help you to procrastinate and remove them. What can they be? It's possible that you have distractions. How many of us have forgotten our phones at home and confidently went through the day without going back to get it? Or left your phone switched off and forgot to put it back on deliberately? How many of us have done that? Right? So you find that at intervals, you see yourself dealing with distractions, alerts, emails, phone calls, SMS. A lot of them keep you busy. And still you are not able to achieve what you set out for the day. You could be doing a lot of things, but none of them will amount to what you really need to achieve. And that's what we're trying to get out of here. So remove the obstacles and learn to reward yourself. Sometimes you know that just browsing through your Facebook feeds gives you satisfaction. Schedule it as something that you need to do something important before you look at it, before you go do it. Sometimes it's a movie, sometimes a YouTube video. Don't indulge until you have done something difficult. That way, you will schedule them as things that gives you satisfaction after you have accomplished something. So that is your reward. You note them down and say, I'll give myself this reward. I'll do Facebook for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, or I'll watch that movie, so and so series. I'll take 1 or 2 episodes. Now, I will defer that gratification until I've actually done the task. And one way to achieve this is to set the 15-minute rule. Tell yourself you're not going to work on any one task for more than 15 minutes at a time. And within that 15 minutes, you are going to basically just switch off everything else. I'm sure you can survive 15 minutes without your phone or without your email alert. Can't we? I believe we can, right? We can, right? So tell yourself, I'm going to write this report. I probably figure out this report will take me a whole day or 2 days to do, but I'm not going to put in more than 15 minutes at a time on this report. So I'll schedule the first 15 minutes, 9 o'clock to 9:15. And then I'll go to other ways you can use this 15 minutes rule as we go on in this lesson. But it's very important that you set a timer and you focus within those 15 minutes to do just a little bit of that difficult task. After 15 minutes, pack it up. Don't do anything again about it. Pick another task and set a timer again for 15 minutes. Now, you'll find that you will have different tasks during different times of the day that are different levels, different stages of completion. But your rule will be adhered to, even if it's just a little editing that is left to finish a particular task. You leave that editing for the next 15 minutes that you will give to that particular task again. Maybe later in the day, maybe tomorrow, maybe in 2 days' time. So to make your 15 minutes effective, you need to chop up your task. I tell facility managers, you need to have an asset register. And then it's like, oh my goodness, asset register, my site is very big. How can I get an asset register? It will take me probably months or weeks or days to get an asset register. Okay? And I've seen some FMs that would just say, you know what, I'm just going to count this particular asset today, 15 minutes. How many chairs are in the conference room? How many conference rooms do we have? Tap, 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 tap. I've noted that number. I have had an input towards my asset register. My asset register has already started. So instead of waiting till that time when you now have a 2 weeks break to now focus on the asset register, which is never going to happen, you pick the tasks one by one. Or you say, I'm going to do just this room. There are 50 rooms in my facility. In 15 minutes, I can note all the assets in one space at a time. Chop it up. Focus on one single task at a time. Feel a sense of accomplishment, even if it's just to gather information about something. To say, oh, I'm gathering information about a certain report I will need to write at a certain time, right? Just browsing to put down a few notes about that subject. I call that my dump file. So if I have a writing assignment or a research assignment, I open a simple Word document, I browse certain questions, I write down those questions, and I copy and paste all kinds of things into that Word document. I do it in 15 minutes. I can create chunks of content, copy and paste into it as my dump file. The next time I open it again to continue that job, for 15 minutes, I ask a few more questions, put those questions on Google, search through what I find, copy and paste, and just dump them there. Sometimes I've done this for weeks, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I end up with a very big document, maybe a file that is probably a few tens, maybe 90, 80 pages. But of course, that's just for me to come back and read through. That becomes like my browsing collection. I do them in little bits. You feel they are working towards it, and then you have chopped up the next step to come back and act on that assignment. So it's not just enough to identify that, oh, I'm procrastinating right now. Maybe at that moment where you start spending more than the time is estimated to be on WhatsApp. Many of us just go feed. You finish all the WhatsApp feeds, you go on Instagram feeds, you go on Facebook feeds, you see the same thing again and again, and just keep browsing. And you're almost as if you are stuck. You can't do anything about it. It's consuming. No, don't let that happen. Time it and make all of those indulgences as rewards. A task, 15 minutes task has been done. I can give myself 10 minutes reward, 15 minutes reward for a musical, for a YouTube item or whatever I see as an indulgence. All right. Always schedule it. Always make sure that you come back. Remind yourself, I have something I need to enjoy after I've done this task. And then please mind the space that's around you. Many of us think that by piling up all of those work-related items on our desk, we'll remember to do them. In fact, they only create more headache and make the work more cumbersome and less likely that you will get into them. Clear your office clutter. Don't have anything around you at all. Let your desk be clean all the time. All the time. Instead of leaving something on your desk, put a post-it note on it, label it, schedule it, put that schedule into your calendar and file it away. You'll get an alert to go open that file at that time. Open it, deal with it. That's your 15-minute chunk. Leaving it on your desk only makes more things come that's piled on top. In some cases, it's those books that you have bought. Somebody says this book is very nice. You bought it, you put it there. Oh, this book gave me so wisdom. You bought it, you put it there. You're not reading them. You're stacking them on the table. When somebody comes and somebody sees your workplace productivity manual, it's like, oh, wow, this person is very organized. Don't clutter your spaces. Number 2, your emails. Please do not be available for emails round the clock. Your emails should actually be paused intermittently. Don't get an alert for every email that hits you. In fact, stop email alerts if you need to get any task done. And then when you are done with that 15 minutes block and you want to check whether you have an email, click on your emails and look at what you have. Now, second rule, even if you've seen what you have in your emails, it is not compulsory that you respond to every email. Read the email. If it's urgent or it's an emergency, respond to it. If it is not, what do? Mark it as unread. Give it a priority if you're using Outlook. Set a task in your to-do list if you're using a notepad. And put a schedule, a time to come back to visit it. Phone calls. There are people that cannot even imagine their phones ringing and they didn't pick it. For you to be that successful person, have you heard the saying that if you want to be a billionaire, you should start thinking like a billionaire? Do you know what thing that makes billionaires? They allow their phones to ring. The phones will ring. Let it just ring. You don't have to respond. You don't have to pick a call. Now, many people will say, oh, well, I'll have to return the call because that is required. You have to return the call. And that gives you one advantage. The fact that you now are prepared for that call. Whoever is calling you at that moment is the only person prepared for the call. You that's going to pick the call, you're probably going to accept new commitments that you're not ready for without thinking about it. But if you call back at your scheduled time, you are prepared. And that's when you can actually have the proper responses. So if you are afraid of spending credit to call back, then use the flash me opportunities and the SMS opportunities to chat back and say, you can call now. I missed your call. At least that's courteous enough to show that the person, you have recognized that individual and you can now return that communication. And then your environment must not be an environment that is laden with all kinds of distractions. Remove all distractions from your environment to be productive. Some little things you can do: use a to-do list. If you have a jotter, I recommend that you hold a small notepad always. Some of us are very good now with phones for taking notes. If you know how to use phones to take notes, please take notes. And let those notes be what I will do, daily tasks. And then you build on them little by little. Because at that point, you are creating what we call a habit, a positive habit. Things that allow you to make progress, make achievements, create a pattern around your life using this notepad, whether electronically or physically. I've talked about reward system already. Learn to reward yourself. Schedule your rewards. Don't just have that mindset that when I feel like doing something, I just go ahead and do it. Many people just pick up their phone and then they just open up something and they just stay there for 30 minutes. When you have that urge, tell yourself, I will enjoy this soon. I will enjoy it at 7:30. I need to do this piece of work in 15 minutes block, right? Because I need to do this piece of work, I am anticipating that enjoyment. Even if it's just a snack. It's interesting how we just pick things, throw them in the mouth and chew them. Prompt yourself and say, this should be fun. I would like to eat this bar of chocolate, but I want to keep it down here so that I can do something for 15 minutes. You can imagine how you're going to focus to do that thing. Do it so well because there's anticipation of something just after you have done it. So it's very important to plan some kind of reward system. And then be realistic when you set deadlines. Someone told me, I'm going to be married in December. We're talking around October. I said, do you already know who you want to marry? He said, no, I don't know yet. Is it in 2 months you're going to find this person and then you're going to propose and then you're going to get married? It's unrealistic. Okay? It's important that you take things in such a way that you use a realistic view. How can this be done? What resources do I have at my disposal? What steps am I going to take to be able to achieve? Those are the steps you will focus on, not the goal at once. It's because you are focusing on the steps that you now have a series of what I call mini goals with their own timelines that you are going to be checking out one after the other before you get to the final goal. Sometimes the tasks come to you from bosses, they come to you from, from your job description, from your role, and so on and so forth. You take on all of these things, but you need to actually negotiate. I encourage employees, I say, look, remind me when I've given you 2, 3, 4 things to work on, and I'm adding another one. Ask me which one is a priority to me. Don't just assume that every one-day task can all be done in one day. Every one-day task will automatically become 4-day workload, isn't it? That's the mindset. So it's not, this can be done in one day. I'll do it. I'll submit it tomorrow. Oh, this other one can be done in one day. Okay, that's fine. I'll do it. I'll submit it tomorrow. And the next one can be done in one day. Oh, one day. Oh, I can do it. I'll submit it tomorrow. How many tasks have you picked up for one day? So think about it all the time. So you can negotiate, a balancing of the tasks that you need to perform. So you don't end up choking yourself with too much that you cannot really deal with. Okay. So how do you set goals? How do you make goals that you can relate to? Because if you don't really like what you want to do, you won't do it. We said procrastination at the beginning. We said procrastination is the things you don't like. You defer them, you delay them, you push them aside. But you always know you will do it one day. And that's why it's called procrastination. Sometimes in a lifetime, it's not done. Sometimes you do it too late, missed opportunities. Okay? We don't want you to be setting goals that you cannot connect with. If you cannot connect with a goal, if that goal is somebody else's goal for you, you will not achieve it. Procrastination will set in naturally. So we'll talk about the 4 P's. The goals must be positive. We'll talk about what it means. They must be personal. They must be possible. And they must be prioritized. So we'll take them one after the other. The 4 P's of goal setting. They must be positive. Let your goals focus on achievements. You know, sometimes we are very negative when we set goals. Use positive framing. I will do. I will achieve. I will ask for. I will receive. I will change job. I will. You are positive. But if you use negative phrasing, the goals will become something you cannot connect with. I will no longer work at this horrible job. I hate this, my company. I will not do, that. Those are negative phrases. You need to find a way to change those negative phrasing into positive sentences when writing down your goals. And they must be specific. Don't bundle up goals. Don't create goals that are so okay. So I will become the MD of a company you're not even working in, for example. That's not a goal. Because all of the things you need to go and study, and the experiences you need to have, and the jobs you need to do, and things you need to accomplish before you get to that level has to be set up as separate goals on your way. Your goals must be personal. They must reflect something inside of you. Even work goals, intellectual goals. As a few years ago, I set a very ambitious goal. I'll make sure that I get my PhD by this time. I'll make sure that I set up my company and it runs and ends and becomes that large at this time. I'll also have a family, I'll raise kids, and I'll do that and that. And I have religious responsibilities, I'll accomplish that and that. At some point, I realized that what was more important to me was not the PhD. I started it, I packed it up, I pushed it to one side. Focus on the family, focus on the company. And then within those two realms themselves, set goals that I personally can relate with. Things that are to the core who I am. Because that's the only time those goals will become effective. If you can't relate with your goals, you will not achieve them. And so this is where I'll tell you, do not copy goals. There are a lot of people that like to copy goals. My friend did this, therefore I should also do it. No, don't copy goals. They say all fingers are not equal. It's not in the sense of not being able to achieve to the same level. That's not what that means. It means that there's difference. What you want to achieve and what I want to achieve does not bring us to different levels in life because we're not running the same race. So don't copy goals. Don't let anybody tell you that at a certain age, you must accomplish this. Therefore, you set that as a goal. No, that's a lie. Even if you heard it from preachers or heard it from motivational speakers that tell you, oh, if you've not done this, you are a failure. It's a lie. It's a real lie. It's fallacy. Don't let that hit your head. People can set goals for things that people achieve at 19 and 20, at 70. You set a goal to achieve earning a degree, getting a certificate in something, starting a job, starting a company at 70. Someone who's been doing that at 19 or 20 doesn't mean that your goal has taken you to a different level. It has taken you to the level you should be, because that's what you can relate with. That's what's important to you. And be honest. Your goals must be positive, must be possible. Be honest with yourself. Do self-assessment. Somebody once told me that he wants to hammer. That was his goal. He wants to make it big. How do you want to make it big when you have not started learning the skills and practicing the habits, the discipline, the activities that will give you the kind of resources you are hoping you will have? So you start setting targets with numbers. Many of us will get spiritual about this and say, if you pray about it, the impossibility will become possible. Look, I'm a Christian, but God gives us the wisdom to look inwards and see what He has blessed us with as resources and His own expected end for us. You must make that alignment. Don't make an impossible thing. And then, please, there is no goal without hard work. If you set a goal that does not require effort, significant effort, time, effort, grit, brain power, willful attention, you don't have a goal yet. So if you are that easygoing, whatever happens, take one day as it comes, then let's not be talking about goals. Because when you are setting goals, you must be ready to put in the effort to achieve the goals. That's why we talk about hard work. Now, many of us have goals that are just too many. I told you about a one-day goal, a one-day task that you piled up several of them and you still hope to achieve them in one day. Of course, it's not possible. Sometimes we set so many goals and then we start ticking off our accomplishments among those goals. As we are ticking off our accomplishment among those goals, you will find out that you are going around the important thing because you've not prioritized. You are ticking off the peripheral activities. I've accomplished this. Oh, I've done 6 out of 10 goals. I must have achieved a lot. There's just one out of those 10 goals that will turn your life around, that will give you the significant improvements you need, that will give you the workplace productivity or the intellectual growth, even spiritual growth, or social improvement, emotional improvement that you desire. You're not getting it, but you are ticking off little things around it. Don't count numbers. So write those goals down and rank them. It's very important. You rank them and you place those that are most important in relation to your personal values at the top. I can assure you, ladies and gentlemen, that these will be the most difficult goals. Those will be your frogs. Put them at the top and deal with them first. But very often, you get excited. We started this new year learning these wonderful workplace productivity skills, and Mr. Paul has done so well. I'm fired up. I'm going to achieve this. I'm going to achieve that. Start setting goals using some of these skills and rules that we're talking about here. What happens in February, in March, in April? You may see yourself beginning to wane because there are no system put in place to keep you motivated. Okay, so that's what we'll talk about using gamification. Okay, so you give yourself some kind of a point system instead of a point system for giving yourself some credits for each step you take along the path to achieving your goals. So don't wait until you achieve the goal to reward yourself or to give yourself that pass mark. You break your pass break that accolade, you break that reward into bits. So you are seeing that you are making progress on an ongoing basis. Positive memories are also powerful motivators. Remembering peak moments creates a sense of achievement and encourages us to seek out that same feeling again. They help us to feel a sense of achievement for all of our work accomplishments. Strong memories that create positive feelings. For example, if you complete a marathon, for example, or you actually got married and had a baby, there are certain things that will just give you that sense of accomplishment. They are big achievements in your life. Those positive memories become like milestones. They become like things that I have achieved in the past. So you are looking at the next one as doable. When you set, I want to have my master's degree, for example, you use a memory of the last time you did, what did you do last? You got a certification, or you got your bachelor's, or you did your WIAC, or you passed your JAM. Bring that memory back and say, I did it, right? I did it. So if I set a new goal now, with that kind of thoughts coming in my mind, I want to achieve this. I want to keep adding more to my laurels. That's what it means. There's no goal until it's written down. I've heard of people having goals in their head, in their mind. I've set up a goal I'm going to achieve. No. The goal must be written down. It must be written in I statement. I will. And if you write your goals, don't leave it inside a jotter or notepad. Frame it up. Put it somewhere where you can see it. I've used this a lot in the past. I still use it till now. Write your goal. That's why you don't need to have too many goals at a time when you're looking at long-term goals, really. Because at every point in time, you must have a few things you are working on. I know some people that just writing. Okay, so there was a time I worked with a team outside Nigeria, and they were this laissez-faire team. They didn't really feel the need to put down reports or to be accountable for what they do. So I put some templates and I set some reporting mechanism. And you know what they termed it? Everybody in the company termed it Pause Pressure Friday. Because on Friday, reports are due before closing from work. And so people either fall ill, come late to work, have an excuse not to come to work, or come to work and find other activities that will keep them so busy that they say, we're not able to do our reports. Right? So put a small sign up to say, put in data towards your report on a daily basis. Almost like a tally system. So you manage a guest house, and there are certain reports you need to submit at the end of the week. Tally it daily. Don't wait until Friday to start looking for the information to make that report. Of course, that will become a pressure for you. Do a daily tally arrangement where you can put the data together. So on Friday, just wake up and you put things and your report is there. So create that kind of visual reminder. Put it where you can see it, either as individuals or as a team. So part of using gamification, you identify the task, you assign points for each task, you create some reward system. So all the things that you like, your leisure, your little snacks, your pecks, you give yourself every now and then, write them down. Just as you are writing the various tasks that are going to be the hard ones for you to do, then pair them. Give yourself points. Every one you accomplish on this side, you give yourself points, and you give yourself some kind of reward that comes back from the pecs that you have listed on the other side. Track your progress. If you are not having any means of trending your accomplishments, you're probably not accomplishing anything. Performance improves when they are tracked, when they are recorded. And when that is sent as a report to someone else for review or evaluation, then the rate of improvement accelerates further. So see accomplishments as they happen, record them. Note that they have happened, that you have accomplished something. From a daily task, all the goals that you have set, check them off one after the other. It also helps you to see that you are prioritized well and you are focusing on the right things. If you don't have any kind of reporting system in your role, or you don't have a mentor or coach that you share information with to track how you are doing in your progress, you're probably not making any progress. So it's very important. I don't have time. There's not enough time. I'm not sleeping well. In fact, as an introduction to time management, let me just first tell you that the best thing you can do with your time is to sleep enough. Best thing you can do with your time is to sleep enough. Many of us procrastinate because we're already stressed out because of poor time management. Because you've not planned your work well, you get so stressed out by the things you are doing, and also stressed out by the things that are piling up that you need to do. And to make matters worse, you don't sleep enough and don't get enough concentration power to deal with anything. So your stress multiplies until there's a breakdown. So use the urgent stroke important matrix. Group all the things that you must do into this quadrant. Things, and then you have the urgent but not important. Where should you really be focusing on? Your best effort is better spent on important but not urgent. That is a quadrant that I call the proactive quadrant. Execute them because you proactively look forward to things. The urgent and important are the things you have left to the last minute, deadline items. You can't help but do them unless you want things to break around you. So your best bet will be to do all the important but not urgent so that nothing drops into urgent and important. So as much as possible, if you do the important but not urgent task, which includes, working ahead of time for all the important things that you need to achieve, you will not have anyone that is urgent and important. What about the not urgent and not important? Should there be anything there as well? Of course, there are all of those little leisure and pecs and time wasters, right? That we like to put in there. Take away from your headache. What about the urgent but not important? This is where distractions stand. I know some people that will come out of the bathroom with soap in their eyes to go and pick up a call. Between completing your shower and picking that call, which one is more important? Well, because it's ringing, automatically gives you a sense of urgency. There are some people that will, out of a whim, call you at 2 a.m. just to discuss something flimsy. Of course, I don't blame them. you left your phone on, or you had to pick it because it was urgent, you couldn't consider that it wasn't important. Of course, some of us work in emergencies. Some of these things will have to be reprioritized depending on the kind of activities you have to do with, kind of people you have to work with. The 80-20 rule is called the Pareto principle. 20% of our actions will often produce 80% of our results. How many of us know how to track our actions to actually identify where these 20% are? Why are we trying to track what these 20% are? Because we should focus on them. Because if you focus on them, you will be able to get 80% of your results. The reverse is also the case. 80% of your actions will be giving you 20% of your results. If you spend all of your time focusing on those 80%, you'll be getting 20% improvements or growth or achievements. You don't want to be there. How many of us use calendars? I'm not sure it's the most important tool in your phone right now, but it should be. Put your appointments, put your activities in there, and just make sure that you have some kind of prompts and reminders for important events. Set up a pattern of doing things. Schedule certain things that should happen at certain times. For those of us who are religious, we know that at a certain time of the day, we should pray, right? That's a ritual. But you can also add additional activities that are important to you to create those repetitive actions and be disciplined about them. I give you one, for example. If I say, I'll check my emails at 10 o'clock, at 1 o'clock, and at 4 o'clock before I leave the office, I'll be disciplined about them. If I say, I set my 15 minutes rule for a task that I'm going to work on, I've set it and I work on them. I'll be disciplined about it. I actually use a timer. I put a timer on in my phone and say, 15 minutes, ring, tell me to stop. And I'll focus and get it done. That's what creating a ritual does for us. It helps you to actually see how many times you do something that is worthwhile in a day. That is how many 15 minutes cycles you're able to achieve during that day. It's easy to begin tasks, but completing them is much more difficult. Life will always find a way to distract us from our task. Okay? It's easy to procrastinate and avoid the task. Many people have a list of things that needs to be done. The list gets longer by the day. And what happens to your stress level? Your stress level also increases with the list. Many people have abandoned writing lists just because of stress that comes from lists. I won't say stop the list. I'll say always ensure that the list don't get long. You deal with it, take it off. You deal with it, you take it off. If you have a list of 10 items, for example, as you're taking one off, one can drop in. Take two off, one can drop in. Just like that, your list will stay balanced and you will stay sane. We talked about how to break your task into chunks. Simplify your task. Don't muddle up things. Simplify them as much as possible so you can take a little piece at a time and complete that piece and give yourself a sense of accomplishment for completing that little piece at that time. Okay, so there's a 5 minutes rule that says that you should put some kind of buffer between tasks. Don't say 15 minutes is 9 a.m. to 9:15, then the next task is 9:15 to 9:30. No. Allow that little buffer, 5 minutes. That helps you to, give yourself some flexibility to do something meaningful. So one can creep over by a few minutes, and then you still have some few minutes to spare. Break up large tasks, sort through everything, remove unwanted items, organize the remaining items, put away items in the appropriate locations. Don't allow things to clutter around you. Don't put that pressure on yourself. It's not worth it. Your phones are not just for social media. The tablets and laptops are not just for social media. There are so many productivity tools, apps that you can get organized around, that you can use to organize your time and your day. Use them. Learn how to use them. Because as soon as you get so good at managing your time, your productivity level will begin to go up. Many people wonder why they don't get promotions. They wonder why they don't get a new job. Nobody, they don't seem to be making progress in a certain sphere of their existence or area of their life. It's because their productivity is very low. Don't say I'm contented, I'm happy with what I have. You want to improve. You want to do better. And this little improvement will over time become noticeable by supervisors, by others around you. Because the way you think, the level of rationality you have, your reasoning ability will be improving because you're just putting these tools and tips into place. And then it's not a one formula thing for everybody. I know a lot of very successful people that early morning is their best time. They wake up 5 o'clock, they've knocked out critical tasks before 9 o'clock in the morning, and they are done for the day. They can, do other things. I like my early morning sleep. Nothing can take that away from me. That's me. I understand that. So instead of going to wake up early in the morning, not being able to even focus and do a lot of the work that I want to do, and then becoming stressed because I didn't sleep enough during the day, I'll sleep it off. 7 o'clock, 6:30, and I get into the day normally and get work done. That's me. Each person will have to find what works best for you. You must know the time of the day that you are most productive. I know some technology people, I know some people in certain industries that it's at night. It's at night. Everybody have gone to bed. The internet is now, virtually free for them. They can do all kinds of creativity and bring things to life by morning. Why not? Discuss that. And if you are an employee, that's also, if you don't bring something valuable to the table, you can't discuss your flexibility with your employer. For sure you can't. You know what works, you need to find a way to use it. Get faster. If you've written exams where they tell you the exam is open book, but you cannot go beyond a certain time to answer maybe 50 questions or 100 questions, right? You now need to practice to do quickly, know how to search in the open book, quickly answer, and you need to practice speed. And technology again will be helpful at this point. Things that will help you cut through kind of shortcuts. Don't be the one that is on an Excel spreadsheet and using a calculator beside it. Just learn some tools. And that's why I recommend going to courses.max-migold.com. We have desktop productivity tools, Excel, Outlook, Microsoft Word, PowerPoint presentation. Go, get yourself some of these skills. For just 5,000, you can learn new things that will make you faster at what you do. Don't ignore them. I know many that will always take a document they are working on to their colleagues. Show me, I'm trying to edit this. I'm trying to do that. So people are typing and deleting one at a time. They are doing all kinds of things that they can use some kind of formatting and formulas to sort out. You submit an Excel spreadsheet to me with data on it. I just click. I don't see formulas on the spreadsheet. I turn it back because I know that there could be errors. So it's what I want to check. What does it take to learn them? Words impact your life. Avoid uncertainty and shift your vocabulary. The words that you use have a way to affect how you think. So negative language should be avoided. An example is the word should, which implies feelings of guilt because you do not plan to actually follow through. I should have done this. I should have done that. I should have done this. Just be conscious. There are certain words that always tend to be negative. They affect you. Start exercising every morning. You don't plan it. I will start exercising every morning. That is better than I should start exercising every morning. And as you make little successes, build on them, improve. Because every time you achieve something small, if you ignore it, it will not serve as an impetus to sustain you to make more progress. So as you're working towards that big goal, mark the points where you make significant progress along that path and celebrate it every time. We've all heard about to-do list, making lists. We talked about it a little bit, but don't make a list that is too long, too big. And lists sometimes are supposed to be the things I will do today that will help me achieve or contribute towards my achievement of a certain goal. Many of us have a lot of things we put on our to-do list that don't contribute to the goals we are trying to achieve in the long run. For me, those lists are distractions. They are a list of distractions. Every time you write down the list of things you did today, or the things you will do today, look at the list again. Look at your goals and ask yourself, which of these items will contribute to any of the goals that are prioritized? If they won't, then of course, they are not relevant. And then make it a habit. Set certain time for certain activities. When it's not finished, no wahala. The time is up, be disciplined. Pack it up. The next time you schedule for it, get into it again. You will now become used to making progress with set times. Plan ahead. Schedule, use your timers, and focus. Give yourself those bursts of focus. Time when you focus on one item at a time and you focus heavily and you get something out of it. Finally, we're going to look at SMART goals. If you cannot achieve your goals, there's a chance that you are not creating the correct goals. Whenever you create goals, you will find that following the rules of SMART goals will be easier to achieve. SMART goals are specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. Goals that are specific, they are direct. They have a one objective that goal is trying to achieve, not a bundle of them. And for each goal, you must be able to measure time, costs, other resources that will go into them. You must be able to measure returns in terms of what you will get out of them. It's important that you set goals that you can measure, because your measurement is not the entire goal itself, it's how you can break down and track that you are able to accomplish the goal. It must be attainable, which means you cannot say I want to earn $1 million when you cannot save $1 a day. That's where the goal starts from. I will save 20,000 from my salary every month, for example. That's a goal that you can use to raise $1 million at some point in life, isn't it? So that's where they start from. Make it attainable. Make it realistic. Something that has been done and can be done, and that you will want to put your mind into to get it done. Okay, I'm going to wrap up here. I'm going to ask that you turn in your questions for the next, I don't want this to stretch beyond 7:20. So I'll take a few questions. What we'll just do are the question and answer sessions. Before I get into the questions, I'd like you to look at the chats. Everyone that are here, if you're here, look at the chat room. You'll see some links. The first one and most important is the workplace productivity online courses that I want you to pick out some of these courses. Start with this one that we have previewed or reviewed today, and then go through them. There are a few quiz questions in them, but then at the end, you'll get a certificate. It's automatically delivered to you if you meet the pass requirement. It's not difficult, and the courses have all been discounted to just 5,000 naira. So at your leisure, you can pick up the course, spend 2-3 hours accomplishing it, and then get a certificate at the end of it. They're all Max-Migold certificates. Okay, and then for those who are interested in the FM Mastercraft, the program starts on Tuesday next week, which is the 12th of January. Start the year on the high. That's what we say. If you really need to make that change of job, get that promotion, or get that recognition in the profession this year, that's what you need to be taking right now. No matter your level in FM, you need to get to that level of strategy that will help you to get elevated beyond where you are. And then the last one is for the short courses that we do in partnership with IFMA Nigeria. You look at those courses, 2 days courses, 3 days courses. Just look at the ones that you think is important for you, for your role. Maybe you don't have time for comprehensive 3 months classes. You can just take any of those, and then you'll be fine as well. I've dropped the link again for those who say they didn't see the. I've dropped the links again for those who did not see the one I put in there before. So you can look at it again, and then just click on them. Let me see if it's coming in. Okay, I think it's all dropped in. You can click on those with your phones, copy and paste them on your browsers, and then browse through all of those content so that you can get more information. Take these courses at your leisure. Is e-learning, and they're very powerful in terms of the content that you find in them. All right, so questions. If you have a question, just use your Zoom app to raise your hand. I'll recognize you, and then you would be given an opportunity to ask the question or make a comment for the next few minutes. So I'm looking at, let's see. Okay, so no hand is up. Tomorrow, we are going to be looking at developing a high performance team. So performance management, how to get people to work together, team leadership, supervision, and all of that. So we're going to be looking at in tomorrow's class. And we're going to run these classes every day between now and Saturday. So tell your friends. We have more slots that have not been taken in this Zoom class right now. I think today's class was just about 60 people. We can actually fill this class with more people to benefit from this for free. Okay. Any questions? Is somebody talking? Bamik Bade Adedaya, are you talking? All right. All right. So till tomorrow then, we'll have another class tomorrow. If you have any questions, you can chat me up on WhatsApp. The number is 080-220-20122. If you want to write that down, the number is 080-220-20122. You can chat up any questions you have, and then I'll give you an answer. Okay. All right. Bye-bye. See you tomorrow.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the training.
Thank you, sir.
A wannan zamani ba wani ba ka da magani na ruwa sama da irin wannan domin itatuwa ne wanda aka yi da gansa.
Thank you, sir.